What's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. Back again with another series or another video in our series on the end of the season review. This time, obviously, still with Jason and Tomiwa. Big up to you, man. This time, we're going to give player ratings. We're going to go through the squad, give our player ratings, give our player of the season, our young player of the season, which is probably a no-brainer at this point, to be honest. Our most improved player, and also rather than just our player of the season, we're also going to give a most valuable player, which is slightly different, and I'll explain why. Maybe Tom can explain that actually, because he's a basketball fan, as you can see. But yes, let's get into it. Let's not waste any time, right? And we're gonna start off with our player ratings. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through the squad I've got over here. And we're going to go from the forwards, back to the midfielders, back to the defenders, and then into the goalkeepers. But in terms of ratings, right, it's obviously between 1 and 10, okay? And let's do 5 as average rather than... Sometimes people do 6 as average, but let's do 5 as average. So 5 is just the average score. Below 5 is not good. Obviously, above 5 is very good. So let's start off, without further ado, with... And we'll start with Tomiwa on this one, right? With Antony Martial.
10! 10!
That's 10.
10!
What are you saying? What are you saying? 10? What's your real score, bro?
Yeah, for those that know, I'm a big Martial fan, but I have to be objective for the video. I have to be objective. No, it was just okay. I mean, it depends. If you want to mark him down for the injuries, then, by all means, feel free. I tried to take it, with a pinch of salt because the player can't control that sort of thing.
All right.
Well, in truth, they probably can to an extent because you can work on your body and whatnot. But I think I'll just give him 6.
Okay.
I want to give him slightly above average because, as I've warned you many times, Ayo, because Ayo's Rich. He's a big hater. He's a big Martial hater. As much as he misses some chances that he should score, I believe he has finished the season. I could be wrong, but I believe he's finished the season. That's our most clinical player. He's got the highest conversion rate, and I think he's actually third joint top scorer, despite having so few games, and even most of the games that he played, he's only playing 60 minutes max. I think he joined third with Antony. Okay. So honestly, I think he's been a plus when he's been on the pitch. We know Eriksen loves him. And I love him too. So yeah, there you go. The comments if you. I don't care.
Yeah, looking at it, to be fair, he's got a 22% goal conversion rate, and I think that is the highest in our squad. Okay, cool. And his average rating on this SofaScore rating is 6.79, which actually is pretty decent compared to some of the other players. But Jay, what's your score for Martial?
And Martial, I'll be keen to know what his appearances were this season and how many goals he scored.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys got that.
Yeah, I can get that for you while you're talking. All right.
That'd be awesome. But for me, I would give him a 7 because even Ten Hag said, and obviously sometimes Ten Hag gas, but I think it is true. When Antony Martial plays, the team plays better, and Ten Hag said the same thing. And with so few appearances, the amount of goals that he did score when he was actually playing, like I feel as though it was high. Obviously, I guess I can verify it.
Yeah, so he scored, according to this, he scored 6 goals in 11 starts.
In 11 starts.
But he played a total of 21 games, but 6 goals in 11 starts, which...
No, that's Premier League only.
Yes, of course, that's Premier League only. Sorry, that's Premier League
of course. In fact, I've checked now. Across all things, he actually scored 1 more than Antony, so it's our third highest scorer.
Oh wow, okay.
9 in 29 appearances.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
Got you. Yeah, so it's obviously not bad. Obviously, the injuries don't hampered the progress and whatnot, and the fact that he wasn't playing a full 90 minutes, and this purely down to injury. But overall, we played better as a team. And he contributed. I remember those times. But the moment he comes back from injury, he'd score, and then he'd score again. So for me, he gets a 7. I'm not marking him down for injuries. That's not footballing ability and contributions. He has contributed. He's played a part. If he had featured more, he probably would have contributed more.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's not as good as he used to be. 100% again, probably because of the injuries. In terms of him, his first touch in the last couple of games, I was like, whoa, man's touch, like that was impeccable before, and the turn of pace and all that kind of stuff. But overall, good contribution. So for me, he gets a 7.
Okay, and let him give him Tom, you gave him a 6, right? I'm gonna go 6 as well. I'm gonna go 6 as well because I think availability is a big deal. You know, or maybe let me even give him a 5 because average. All right, so I'm gonna give him 5. Tom was 6.
Down for the video. Everyone down for the video.
Hold on.
Yeah,
I want to challenge that, bro. I need to challenge that.
Of course,
Workhorse is available. So what did you get?
Yeah, no. We'll get to we'll do Vegas next.
He's available though.
We'll do Vegas
he's
next,
available.
yeah. But no, because Martial, right? Like when he's played, like let me give him props, right? Because when he, for example, you mentioned goals, but also he has some very important assists. I think he played the ball into Rashford, for example, when we won that Liverpool game 2-1.
Right.
So or was it 3-1? I can't remember.
He made a lot of key contributions.
Exactly. He made key contributions. But I think if I'm saying 5 is average, not below average, but also he's not. For me, he's not above average for this season.
He's average, but he's our third highest scorer.
There you go. There you go.
Everyone below 5.
Controversial. It's controversial, but I mean, I want more. I want a lot more from Antony Martial.
It's alright. You're showing your colours. We've seen you. You're showing your colours.
Anyway, let's talk about Vegas then. Let's talk about Vegas because my score for Vegas would be a 4 because he scored 2 goals in however many appearances, and he didn't give us one single Premier League goal. So
you think Martial is a little bit better than Weghorst?
Because Martial wasn't available.
Nah, but that's what I'm saying. I'm not judging for availability. I'm not judging
exactly. But then when we get to Bruno now, are you not going to give him plus points for? Well, let's not get to Bruno ahead of time. But you're not going to give him plus points.
We'll get Bruno.
All right, okay. All right, yeah, we will because exactly. So, all right, cool. But anyway, my thing on Veghorst, probably even. I mean, I don't want to go lower than a 4 because the guy was there. He helped us out in the Carabao Cup final, all this kind of jazz. So I'll give him a 4 because you can't, as a striker for United, you can't only get 2 goals. When he played bare games, like he played a lot of games when he first joined.
31.
There you go, 31 games. That's 10 more than Martial played in the. Is that all competitions? Premier League.
Yeah. All competitions.
Yeah,
it's actually only 2 more than Martial.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So, and Martial got a lot more goals than him actually, to be fair. So, I mean,
that's what I'm saying. So
okay, maybe Martial deserves a 6. Maybe he deserves a 6. Yeah, and Veghorst, but Veghorst, I'm giving him a 4. What are you saying, Jay? You can start with Veghorst.
Okay, so Veghorst for me gets a 4 as well. Gets a 4 as well. Gets a 4. Like availability for me is it's not enough. That's not enough. Like for me, when Veghorst plays, you're a man down. You are just a body on the pitch. All this pressing business, fam, like it worked for a couple of games, and then he didn't do nothing. The fact that he contributed to the FA Cup, Carabao Cup final, you get some flowers for that. But I don't want to hear all this. Oh, it's effort. He ran around. No, forget that. But like, you can hire anyone who's just fit, who's just got a good heart.
I could do that. I could do that.
Just do that. You know what I'm saying?
Pay me some money to do that.
Useless, bro. That miss where he should.
Oh Lord!
Assisted him. Nah,
the Sancho assist. Yeah.
Nah, man. No.
That was the moment
when
when
one of his goals was actually a goal as well.
The amount of misses, like I'm sure someone would say, "Listen, 4 is even too high." But
facts.
The reality is, you contributed in a final. I'm gonna give you that, and against Barcelona, like he played the stick as well. So I'll give him a 4.
Okay.
I'll give him a 4 for that.
What are you saying to you?
I'm gonna give him a 9.
Wait, you're taking a mic. What do you mean? A 9 what?
I thought we were talking about passion. I thought we were rating on passion. So.
This is what I'm saying.
I thought that's what we did. Let me. I'm not even going to justify my argument by giving you arguments. I'm just going to give you. I'm asking some questions.
Okay, go on.
Who do you think had a higher goal conversion rate? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
McTominay or Weghorst?
You know, the bad thing is, I saw a McTominay goal the other day when Garnacho assisted him, innit? You know that goal, and then he karate kicked it. So I'm gonna have to say McTominay, to be honest. But it's mad. It's a mad stat.
Yeah, McTominay's got almost 3 times his goal conversion.
Oh man!
He's got 6. Who's got higher conversion rate, Luke Shaw or Weghorst?
Did Luke even score this season?
What?
He scored 1 goal.
Yeah, but then
and you're a striker. You know what? Listen, if you want to take it down from a 4, I'm not going to argue. I'm not gonna
who's got more goals? Who's got more goals per night? Sabitzer or Weghorst?
Oh no!
This crap. No. You know what? Maybe we have to make it a 3. You have to make it a 3 or something. Oh, Tomar, what do you think? I want a rating. Give me a girl's rating, bro.
I don't know what to rate this guy. I'll give it. I think 3. Just Literally, just
say
because
that.
he was
Oh,
available.
wow.
Say that. Free. I take that. I accept that too. Yeah.
His minutes per goal is 839.
Nah,
No. What?
Yeah, he can get
And
free.
he's one
Yeah, he can
better
go
than
free.
Martial. That's what he said.
That's what I'm saying. Man said
all right.
4 and 5. Nah, no way. No way.
I'm about to jump off this call, man.
No way. No way.
No,
Got other things to do.
You know what? But bro, Val is a mess. He's a complete mess. Yeah. But let's not get into it because otherwise, like, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments. Right?
It's like coming to do your work appraisal at the end of the year. And look at your stats.
And then you're like, wait, hold on. No, but then, okay, yeah, but then if you're comparing him to your other colleagues, you're like, okay, actually, your performance was dreadful compared to the other.
Yeah, no, he can get free, man. He can get free.
Yeah, if he wants to argue, I deserve to be here. He has no. He
has nothing to say. He has nothing to say. You have no capacity.
He can get free, man.
All right, cool. Let's do this guy in like real quick. Antony Elanga. He's on my list. He's on the next list. Real quick.
Four.
Yeah.
Didn't do much.
Well, there's nothing really to say about him. What are you saying? Loan, sell?
Sell.
Yeah, sell. I'd have to say sell as well, to be honest. We're gonna ignore Diallo because he wasn't here this season. But on that though, he's been amazing. He might be a shout for most improved player. He wasn't even here.
Tracks.
Let's get into the big boys, right? Marcus Rashford. What are you saying, Jason?
Marcus Rashford this season. I'm going to give Rashford. I want to give him a 9.
Oh, okay.
I want to give him a 9. If not a 9, it would be an 8. But I'll give him a 9. Give him a 9 because he pretty much his goals carried us this season. Yeah. Without his goals, we're finished. He's played through injuries. Mate, the run was incredible. 30 goals to do what you did this season in comparison to last season. Absolutely incredible. Well done. The leadership as well, the maturation. But every so often, you could see, his decision making would be a bit off in the sense that he could, be a bit less selfish. He's taking it upon himself to do too much, and could pass a bit more, assist others a bit more. And sometimes you can see the effort. Like if we got FA Cup final, just a couple games, there will be like no effort. But yes, I appreciate he's probably playing with an injury sometimes and whatnot. So for that, I'd give him a 9. So it wasn't perfect, but absolutely phenomenal. And without his goals this season,
we're finished.
Incredible. Obviously, he won the Bugsby.
We played the season.
So I understand. I wouldn't give it to him personally, but I'll give him a 9. He gets a 9 for me.
Okay, T, you agree with that? Because I agree with 9. To be fair,
I'll say 8. Honestly, I'll say 8. 30 goals and 56 appearances is very, very, very.
First one to do that since Van Persie.
Van Persie, yeah. However, I just think at United, like let's be honest. Like if you compare him with Haaland or Mbappe, I'm not to say that he's that level yet, but he can do more. He can do more. He can still be more clinical. But he had a very good season. He led the team in goals per 90. He's had a very good season. And without him, when he wasn't scoring, we were struggling.
Yeah, no, big facts, bro. We had that. We were struggling, especially when he went out injured for like a few games. You start us off on Bruno Fernandes. Then obviously this is our captain this season. He's led us to glory actually because we won the Carabao Cup under him. And for me, I'm a huge Bruno fan. Like he would be one of my highest rated guys. But I won't give my rating here. I want you to start tomorrow and give us your reasons as well before we go into Jason and me.
Yeah, it's a bit tricky. I'll go with 8. Okay. I think he had a very good season. 14 goals, 13 assists. He's played in every position under the pitch, and more than that, he had we're talking about availability, but he actually was available. And he was putting in shifts, serious shift every game. Since he got here, he's talked about his mentality. He's shown his mentality. So he's a winner. He's petty. He's annoying, but he's trying to win, and I like that about him. Like the team that I support. Bruno's got that heat culture. I like Bruno. He's obviously not always effective, but he's a good player.
All right, before we get into Jason, because Jason's gonna give me all this stuff about Bruno, right?
I want to hear him.
No, of course. But I think Bruno let me give you some stats, right? Like general stats. I don't know the exact stats, right? But I know for a fact that he created the most big chances in the Prem, right? Above De Bruyne. I think he only beat De Bruyne by like 1. I think he had 32, De Bruyne had 31. He could have got a lot more assists if we had a better striker, obviously, if we had a striker other than Weghorst in playing. The problem, obviously, that you're going to mention that I agree with is when you compare Bruno to a Kevin De Bruyne, when you compare him to a Martin Odegaard, he loses the ball a lot more. But then on the flip side, it's like a balance. He's creating a lot more than those guys. Well, maybe not a lot more in the case of De Bruyne, but he's losing the ball a lot more than those guys as well. So then we're losing a bit of control in the middle of the park, which is exactly what you want, right, Jay? So, but yeah, I would agree with an 8 because I can't. Not that I don't want to give him the same score as Rashford, because I'll give Rashford a 9. But I think an 8, a very high 8, maybe 8.5, but 8 for me. What are you saying, Bruno?
No, makes sense. And maybe you'll be surprised to know that he gets an 8 for me.
Okay, all right, cool.
Bruno Fernandes gets an 8. If I had to choose another one, it'd be maybe 7.5.
But, so you're going down rather than up.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you go down, but he has to get 8. I'm not going to give Martial a 7 and give Bruno a 7. Yeah. He gets an 8. Yeah. For the things that he does well, right? So obviously the numbers on the board, right? The goals and assists, that's excellent. That's excellent contribution and whatnot, right? The availability in terms of what you've mentioned is fantastic as well. Yeah. All of that stuff is fantastic, right? Absolutely amazing. Yeah, but like he's still not efficient. Like, some of the decision making, again, you see, like as I keep saying, I'm massive on decision making, like passing where you need to pass and shoot where you need to shoot. Mate, the time I remember, when the game where he nutmegged the player, and it would have been an incredible goal, and he hit the crossbar from that close. Why? How? Simple decision making, poor, right? FA Cup final, you're doing flicks. When we've just gone 1-0 down, you're doing flicks in the middle of the park where we need to be keeping and controlling the ball. Wrong. You shouldn't be doing that. The Liverpool game where we capitulated, his behavior, his antics, shocking. It was absolutely disgraceful, right? Absolutely disgraceful. It's like, you can't be doing that as a United captain. You can't do that. So yeah, the Hollywood balls, all of that stuff pisses me off, to be quite frank. So there's no way you can get a 9, no way you can get a 10. Unless you improve on those things. Now, I remember when he was played in what, the 8. It was the 8, yeah, it was the 8.
Yeah,
and this guy was
controlling.
The balls, the distribution, the passes. Mate, this guy was quick. I was like, listen, I want to see more of this. This is all I'm after, bro. You do this, stop the foolery, and I'll love you. You understand? So he gets an 8 for me, no more than an 8. And hopefully he does better next season. Right, wait, cool. Imagine him with Harry Kane up front. Goodness me.
Unreal, exactly. And people will appreciate him more when he's getting the assist, I think. All right, let's move it quickly so that we can get through to the awards, right? So, another big player, Casemiro. For me, he gets also an 8. And the reason I say 8 is because the suspensions, we missed him a lot for the suspensions. Some of them, in fact, weren't his fault. In fact, I don't think any one of them, really. Maybe the Crystal Palace one, where he did a silly yellow card.
He grabbed the guy.
Yeah, exactly. But no, not even that one. The first one where we didn't need. He had to not get a yellow card, and then he got a yellow card, and then they equalized with the Elise goal.
Oh yeah.
I think that maybe was his fault, but the other ones weren't his fault. He grabbed the guy. That was nonsense. But yeah, I'd give him 8. I'd give him 8. What are you saying? Who wants to go first?
Yeah, I agree with 8. Very, very good season. I haven't really got anything to add to what he said.
All right, Jason, start us off on Antony then. Right, let's go straight to Antony. What are you saying?
He gets a 9 for me.
Anthony?
Casemiro.
Oh,
I didn't do Casemiro, so Casemiro for me gets a 9.
Okay, cool.
No, Casemiro. Yeah,
okay,
Casemiro
cool.
gets a 9 for me.
I thought you were giving Antony a 9. I was about to say, bro, like...
No.
But yeah, go on, continue.
Antony for me gets a 6.
Okay, cool. All right, explain.
Antony gets a 6. For me, the times where he should be passing and he's shooting, the shooting when he should be passing, that young decision making not good enough for me just right now. I think we could have done a whole lot better with that amount of money. Like I said, 90 million for Dog is not good enough. The constant use of the left foot, one trick pony business. Yeah,
to be fair, we kind of covered him extensively in the last video. If you haven't watched the last video on this series, go and watch it. We did talk about Antony quite a lot on that one, and you're right. Yeah. I think
it's a 6
makes sense. Somewhere you disagree with that?
6. I'll agree with that. Yeah, he's just been too inefficient. His goal conversion is 9%, which is poor.
What's the goal conversion? What's the goal conversion?
9%. 9%. Just for reference, Casemiro is 12%. And he just sometimes just shoots the front of it.
Bro, exactly.
90 million.
Yeah.
90 million right forward. No.
All right, okay then. Let's keep moving to the right. Let's stay on the right hand side at the moment, anyway. And I'll start with you, Tommy, this time, yeah, because I know how Jason feels about him at the moment. My guy, Jadon Sancho, bruv. Scary hours. What are you saying?
It has to be 5. It has to be 5. It's average. I'm sorry.
My chest.
He gave us some good performances, which were lovely to see. I've always been big on Sancho, but he came back and he didn't really like shock us for nothing. He was just contributing okay. We need to see more from him, man. He's meant to be a generational talent.
Yeah, no, 100%.
That's what we want to see.
And you know what? On that note, actually, I would agree with the 5, actually, because you're right. He's meant to be much better than he is, right? He did start the fight back against Liverpool. He scored that first goal against them, so, big props for that. And Ten Hag treated him right with the way he handled him. But even then, I thought he'd come back a bit stronger than that. But Jay, do you want to change that score?
Yeah, I think I'd give him a 5, maximum is 6, but I'm happy to agree on a 5 because for the majority of the season it wasn't good enough, and it was only towards the end where I was like, oh, epiphany. No, we need to play this brother on the right, and he will cook, and we'll get the Dortmund numbers because I'll start to see his contributions, and I think there was a stat that showed. There was 2 games where he should have had 6 assists.
Yeah, well, yeah.
6 assists. Yeah. Now that makes the season look a whole lot better in terms of numbers.
That's right.
So he was really moving out of 4, but those last few games and then that Liverpool contribution elevates him to a maximum of 6. But if you gave him a 5, I wouldn't complain that. But I'm telling you, next season, for me, you put that brother on the right hand side, he will cook, and we will see.
We'll see. We're gonna be here.
Let me give you just one quick stat.
Yeah.
Total shots for the year, 21 in 41 appearances.
Oh.
21 shots in 41 appearances. That's really low.
Poor. That's poor for a winger, bro. When you consider Rashford played most of the season on the wing as well, Garnacho probably had a lot more shots than him, and he didn't play anywhere near.
To compare him to, Garnacho 32 shots in 34 games.
There you go.
Anthony 92 shots in 44
games. Bro, that's
games.
mad. He was just shooting, bro.
He was just shooting.
Yeah,
but that's really low.
Yeah, that's poor.
That's really low.
But then Anthony's inefficient. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
So
Well, yeah, let's keep moving. Garnacho, man like Garnacho. I'll start with him, right? On his debut season, really breakout season, let's put it that. Because he's a young player, because he's starting now, and the impact off the bench, because he's not really doing it from the start. I would give him a solid 7, a solid 7, I think. I think he's been a very good contributor to the team. He's helped out a lot where we needed him. He scored that goal against Fulham at the end of December when just before Ronaldo went and did his interview with Piers Morgan. I think I'd give him a 7. I don't think I'd go any lower or higher than that. What are you saying, boy?
I'll give him an 8. For what is expected of someone who of that age, I think he's over-delivered. Some of these last-minute goals against Fulham, and when we were in a drought and for time, and he was injured, and he just came back, scored that winner in a pivotal time when we need it.
Against Wolves.
You know what I'm saying? Those are clutch moments. He's letting you know, now I'm that guy. So I love that attitude. So for me, he definitely gets an 8. I give Martial a 7.
I like that.
I give Martial a 7. So Garnacho has to get an 8.
I like that. What are you saying? You agree with that?
Yeah, I'm not sure between 7 and 8. I want to say 7, but we've really needed him this season. Bro, always giving us. We needed every bit of it.
You needed an 18-year-old, and he's only getting a 7.
But then my thing is, we need him to also.
It should. And plus, we shouldn't take into account his age. In my opinion,
true.
Like, he should improve from there. Don't get me wrong, but and like you said, when he starts, he's pretty much useless.
Which is mad. Yeah. All right, cool. All right, we're gonna ignore certain players like Donny van der Beek, and like Zidane, Iqbal, Kobe Mainoo, because they don't really get much of a look-in, right? Let's move on, obviously, to Christian Eriksen, who came in as a free. Remember, and I think there was parts of the season where we really, really needed him. We missed him when he got injured after Reading, but when he came back, actually, I don't think he's really given us that much. So for me, I think he would get either a 6 or a 7. Because he was important for control. So actually, I'll give him maybe a low 7, but a 7, I think I'd give him.
7.
Yeah?
7.
I'll go 6.
You got 6. Why 6?
Yeah.
Let's say why 6.
Just because people forget Eriksen was an incredible player before.
Yeah.
And I know he's not necessarily the same, but yeah, since he came back, he's not been very.
He hasn't been, and that's why we need to get a replacement in that position. To be honest, we really do, especially for the control aspect. And then kind of staying in that position. Sabitzer gave us a little. We covered Weghorst. Sabitzer's little cameo in the season. What are you saying? Because obviously he didn't really give us that much in the end. I don't know how many games he played. Tom, you've got the stats there. Jay, what would you give Sabitzer?
Sabitzer, you can get a 6 or a 5.
Okay.
I'll give him a 6 or a 5.
Yeah, he's got a couple good goals though. Remember in that game?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I think if he had played more in that number 10 role, we'd have got more out of him. So 2 goals in one game. Not many players, I don't think, have scored 2 goals in one game.
Other than Rashford, I guess.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Casemiro. But then we lost the game anyway.
Oh yeah, snap. Yeah,
no.
That was severe.
Yeah, it was
silly. Yeah, so I'll give him a 6 or a 5.
All right, I'd agree with that. Any changes to that, Tom?
I'll give him a 5. I mean, for comparison's sake, Eriksen got like 10 assists, to be fair to him. But Sabitzer didn't really contribute that much outside a couple of goals in a cup game, And
I remember when he came in, we were hoping that, okay, cool, it would be him and Casemiro coming in after Eriksen got injured, but it didn't really give us that much in the end.
Yeah, that was his chance to take his piece of front. Yeah, he didn't take it.
Do it. Would you keep him quickly, actually? Would you keep him or would you send him back? No? Okay.
I think we can get better. I'd rather just have Tillmans if he's free, man.
Yeah, I get
something like that.
Tillmans is an interesting one. I think that can debate. That's a debate in itself. But anyway, let's keep moving. We're not going to do Palestra either because he really didn't play that much this season. We'll just give same with McTominay. I think he's injured most of the season, unless I'm mistaken.
No, you can get Ray in.
Yeah,
you can get Ray
in. All right, go ahead. What do you think?
I mean, you can get what? You can get like
a couple
5.
Goals, actually. He's got a couple goals.
You can get a 5. Yeah, like keeping Casemiro out of the team at the beginning of the season.
True.
See, for me, I don't forget what people do. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing. I'm not.
I forgot that was a thing.
I remember the good.
So
yeah, for that was pretty good. Yeah. And then there's a period of time when we obviously lost Casemiro, weren't doing nothing for us. Taking me off. So he can get a 5 and whatnot. He needs to go.
You're 100% right. Yeah, I'll give him a rating for 5 as well. I'll give him a rating for 5. Tom, you want to add to that?
I want to say 3 to be honest.
Oh no!
I'll give him a 4, I guess.
Yeah,
but
he was alright in those games. Remember, Casemiro couldn't get in the team.
Yeah, and it was only because we were winning. It wasn't because someone was doing anything special.
That is
and he hasn't done anything special. He was actually better under Oli, to be honest with you. Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so that's Casemiro. Next on the list, right, is a bit more.
That's McTominay, not Casemiro.
Oh, sorry. You said Casemiro. Just put him out. So Mac T. Next on the list here is the defenders, right? So I remember I've skipped a few of the non.
We didn't do Fred though.
Oh snap! Yeah, how did I miss Fred? Frederick. Man, like Frederick. Come on, we have to rate him. Come on, what are we saying?
4.
No way.
Wow. Yeah, he has had some good games.
Yeah.
4. That's harsh.
Maybe it's a bit.
How many games has he played for us? Because he's played a few games for us, hasn't he?
He's played 56 games, which is one of the most. Yeah. Same as Rashford, basically.
Yeah,
that Tottenham game when he was playing out of his skin,
and the game at home against City, he dominated.
And City as well.
De Bruyne, and against Barcelona, he was on Frankie De Jong.
So, yes, that's true. Actually, to be fair,
he
had some good. Okay, I'll grade to 5. I'll grade to 5. Well, that's because he's had equally
bad games. No, 100%. I mean, like I've mentioned like 3 or 4 games, good games, but I'm sure we can mention 3 or 4, 5 bad games as well. So yeah, I think I'd agree with a 5, like an average 5 to be honest. But Jason, you're gonna say 6.
I'll give him a 6.
Yeah,
I'll give him a 6. Because it's just slightly above average. 7, just slightly above average. 6.
He's a player that's useful to have because of his energy. Or it's like sometimes it's like a double-edged sword, man. It's just
1 minute he's good, 1 minute he's not. Like
I think Ten Hag could find a way to make him use of it, but I don't know.
Some of the goal contributions as well, and the passes. Remember that ridiculous pass he did for Bruno Fernandes?
That's true.
He plays well. He plays
nice.
very well. It's not
Yeah,
just
you're
decent,
right.
he plays
You're right.
very
And that
well.
was an
And when
important time.
crap, he plays very crap. Do you see what I'm saying? So
yeah.
with that, I'll give him 6.
All right, cool. That's fair. That's good reasoning. All right, let's get into the defenders. Let me just quickly X out the players that we're not gonna talk about. Tender Mengi in the squad, not doing anything. Swansea wasn't even here. Philip, Anthony Jones, thank you very much. Did a good job.
0.
You're out of the team. Thank you very much. Brandon Williams, I don't know. There were times in the season when he was gonna come in, but he never came in. Anyway, let's get into the big boys. So let's start with Malacia because it's probably gonna be the lowest rating out of them, I think. I think for his first season, I'll give him a 5 average. He's raw. He had times when he was decent. He covered Shaw very well, and actually, maybe even a 6 just for the fact that he pushes Shaw to another level. But because Shaw needs that kind of push. But yeah, 5 for me. Any changes on that? Or
I give him a 6 because I remember. I said I don't forget. I remember the guy pocketed Suarez. He pocketed him. Sorry, not Suarez.
I was gonna say Suarez.
Salah.
What's his name? Salah.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say Suarez.
Complete pocketed him. You know what I'm saying? And against Saka, it was kind of 50-50.
That was the first time.
There were times where Saka was holding him, and there were times when Malacia was on top of him. And then City, and I like him in the big games. In the big games, he's very, very, very feisty. But then I think there was another game. Oh, I think was it Liverpool where he was just getting cooked really, really badly. Made a bad mistake. Was it Sevilla? We made a huge mistake and whatnot.
And he missed a big chance in that game as well. That could have won.
Yeah, just something. So again, first season, young guy and whatnot, but the effort, the attitude and whatnot. So for me, he gets a 6.
Okay, I'll stick with my 5.
I agree, Jason. That was well argued, Jason. He's
it was very. He's full by it. He's actually full by it.
And the best thing I can say about Malacia is that when he's in the starting lineup, we never.
Yeah, you're not worried. You're not worried. You're right.
We're like, okay, it's cool. He tries really hard. He makes good plays. Yeah. I like his attitude.
Let's
still raw.
Let's give these two together, right? Just because they're kind of interrelated, right? Diogo Dalot and Aaron Wan-Bissaka, right? And the reason I did them together is because there were times in the season when we thought Dalot was the truth, right? Before Christmas, he was the best. And we were like, sell Wan-Bissaka in January. We said, sell him in January. It's fine. We don't need him. Bring in somebody else, sell him. And then Wan-Bissaka, second half of the season, which is unbelievable. And the reason I'm giving them together because I think they've probably had very similar seasons. They just kind of dovetailed. On that note, I'll give them both a 7. I think personally.
7?
Yeah. You might want
to
go higher.
Brother.
You think you're gonna go higher? I think you're gonna go higher.
Hey, we saw that run from Wan-Bissaka up close, bro.
Oh wait! You know the one when he like against
Brighton. He turned into Ronaldinho.
Listen, for me,
to be fair, because of the awards I'm gonna give, because of the awards I'm thinking of, I'll bump Wan-Bissaka to 8 and a Dalot to us. Dalot's still a 7.
That's fair.
Anyway, go on. What are you saying?
I agree with that.
Go on, talk about.
No, I'm saying I agree with Ayo. That's what I'm gonna say. I think Wan-Bissaka's been incredible at times. I can't remember that much at the beginning of the season, but Dalot was the truth for sure.
He was really good.
Talks about him going to Barcelona and all these things. We were like, I think, can we keep holding this guy? I've always been a huge fan of Dalot, and Wan-Bissaka's been incredible as well. So there you go.
Okay. What are you saying, Wambi? You love Wambi, man. Like,
well, Dalot gets a 7 for me.
Yeah,
I want because again, I remember, as you said, he's the truth. He was doing bits. Then obviously, was it injury?
Yeah,
it was after the World Cup. Yeah, he got injured.
World Cup. After the World Cup, then form kind of declined. But the amount of good that he was doing now, keeping Aaron Wan-Bissaka out of the team. So yeah, for me, he gets a 7. Wambi for me gets a 9. Wambi gets a 9, and I'll tell you why. For me, the way this guy, and we all thought he's done. He ain't getting into the squad. How do you come back with that much attitude and quality to be able to work yourself back in and not get dropped? Be completely undroppable. Newcastle in the final. This guy was man of the match in the final.
True, and he only came on half time, didn't he?
What?
He only came on half time.
He came on half time.
Oh yeah, he came on some check now. He's an LSX maximum, bro. He just dominated.
Locked off St. Maximum. What do you call it? Was it Matoma? He didn't do nothing.
No, to be fair.
Not the most tackles, like in was it? Is it not Europe or
in Europe?
What? Are you mad? No way. He's improved in the final third, improved going forward. I remember that time when he was doing those little 1-2.
That's it. That's what Tom was saying.
Sancho. What? No way. He was not expected to do any of this. No back chat, no attitude. Just incredible
Yeah.
He is getting a 9
You
for
know
me.
what? You know what? I mean, not gonna lie. I mean, I've been pushed up twice here, but I think I would actually agree with that. To be fair, the guy's been on road. The guy's been on road.
The only reason why I'm gonna stick with my 8, 1 assist, no goals.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
for the modern fullback.
Sure.
Don't get me wrong. I personally, people always say, "Oh, he's limited going forward. He's limited." I'm over that personally. I don't think he's limited.
100.
But I want to see a bit more contribution.
Yeah.
Sure,
yeah,
got 6.
Some end product in it. Yeah.
So there you go.
Hopefully he can get that next season, but because what we were expecting this season, shocked me. Shocked me.
Bam, facts.
No, that's facts. To be fair. All right, cool. Let's get into the other side of the pitch here. Luke Shaw, and he's another candidate for most improved player, to be honest. Because last season, some people weren't even trying to back this guy. I'm giving him a straight 9 because I think he's one of our better players. Yep, 100%, 100%, 100% 9. 100% for me. I love the guy. And, you know, when you're just talking about his stats now, you're comparing him to Wambi, and you just said he'd get, 6 assists? Right?
Yeah.
And he scored how many goals? How many goals did he score?
1 goal.
One goal from left back. It was a good goal. I remember it was a great goal. But yeah, I'll give him a 9. I think it was excellent. And not just that, because he played not just left back, he covered exceptionally.
That's true.
Left centre back. And we didn't even miss Martinez. If I'm giving Wambi a 9, I'm giving Luke Shaw. Actually, I'll give Wambi an 8, but I'm giving Luke Shaw.
Okay, before Jason, because I know Jason will give us the reality check. I'll give him a 7.
7.
7. He's been very good. It's been very good, but no, I can't even give him an 8 because I can't give him the same as Bruno and Rashford and Casemiro. No, he's been very good. He's been good, but I'm sorry. He's also had, let's not forget, Brentford, Liverpool.
Okay, he wasn't. But then you can say about all the players that played that Liverpool game, though.
He's done. Don't get me wrong. There's not many left backs I'll take over this guy. I think he's a very, very good player. But yeah, that's my thoughts. And centre back, he's saved us a lot as well.
That's it. That's what's pushed me to a 9. But Jay, what are you saying? Because you've had a love-hate relationship with Luke Shaw.
Exactly.
So Luke Shaw, I say that. Luke Shaw for me, he is someone, and I know people will be like, well, I don't care. It's my opinion. He is someone I have hated. I wanted him sold when the Jose Mourinho wanted him sold. I thought it was crap, waste of time, waste of money. I've never rated this brother. I was like, no, we could do so much better than Luke Shaw. Ragnick came and said, no, we should be doing better than Luke Shaw. Didn't rate him at all. This season, he made me into a fan. He made me into a fan. Someone who's against it. That's what I'm saying. I'm willing to change. If you show me the thing, I'll change. So for me, minimum, he gets an 8. Okay. Minimum 8. Yeah. Because for me, he's been even better at centre back than he has at left back. I was like, what? Who is this brother? This short you, bodying up the
defenders. He's 6 foot, man. He's taller than us.
He has been incredible. And then when you put him on the left, the crosses, that little skip that he does before he does his little cross.
Every time. That used to annoy me, to be fair. Now it's like, all right, cool. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Quality crossing.
I'm sure a lot of his assists come from corners, to be fair, because he's been good with set piece delivery too.
Yeah. So for me, I think he has been immense. So yeah, he gets a minimum of an 8. I would not knock a 9, but yeah, minimum of an 8. Like, absolutely incredible. I was just shocked. Finally, he made me into a fan.
All right, cool. All right, that's interesting. Like I said, let us know your views on these ratings, because we're all going back and forth here. We've got 4 more players to do that we're going to do, because we're not going to do the backup goalkeepers. We've got this one. Let's do quickly, because I ain't trying to spend time with this guy.
Who?
Harry Maguire. I'm going to give him a 4. A 4.
Yeah, 4.
That's it. I'm not even going to say anything. Thank you very much for your services. Please go. Yeah. See you later.
That's because our standards of him have dropped. So it's 4. And unless he plays, honestly, you know how they say, a fool, if they talk too much, they'll reveal themselves.
That's it.
The more he plays, the more he reveals himself.
As soon as you see his name on the starting line, you're just stressed, bro. You're just nervous. You're just nervous. So yeah, 4 for me. Just forget about him. You don't disagree, Jay, right?
4 for Max.
Cool. Our 2 starting centre backs. Lisandro Martinez.
10.
I think. 10 out of 10.
10. All right, finally, someone gets a 10.
Explain.
10. Immense. No form drops. Nothing. Just the attitude, the venom, the high fives with the teams, the tackling, winning headers at that height. the passing, breaking line passes, press resistant. He's a beast. He's an absolute animal, man. And I'm so grateful we've signed him and he's got in our team. Absolutely phenomenal.
What's your one?
I was gonna say 8, but Jason's now made some really good points. And the thing is, you can't really fault the guy. Okay, he was there for some of our big losses.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say he was there in the Liverpool game, bro. Well, like,
and I think when I remember, he was there against Sevilla as well, right?
But then he got injured. He got injured, and that's when we started conceding goals. As soon as him and Varane.
Yeah, actually, no. To be fair. Yeah, to be fair. Actually, yeah. I'm actually finding it hard to follow the guy because honestly, I think purely in terms of like the main impact he has is actually when he has the ball at his feet. Like he's absolutely elite at just distributing the ball, fam. He literally has to do that. He does the Hayer's job for him, bro. It's like
what I'm saying. Wild. And he saved us from Harry Maguire. Like, if Harry Maguire played this season, we're finished.
No, you're right. You're right. No, I mean, I'll give him a 9 because I don't want to give 10 out of 10, but I'll give him a 9 personally.
I might have to give him a 9, I guess. I didn't want to give him my player of the season, but it's looking like I might have to give it to him, you know?
All right, cool. Last person before the hair, and we'll do these 2 quickly because we've really been on this one for a while. Rafael Varane, quick ones. What are you saying?
Varane can get a 9 for me.
Okay. Samuel, what are you saying?
Because he's want to take into account availability.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do think you can't. Someone can't appear for one game and then have a 10 out of 10, and you say, okay, 10 out of 10 for the season. Yeah. So it is important. So I'll give him an 8. I think it's extremely good. But and you know, sometimes you just watch him and you just intercept.
The ghost, he does stuff without even realizing. It's just class.
And when he's not there, and players stand and watch, you realize Varane would have got there already. But he was also a part of some of the losses. Maybe he's knocking down. So 8.
Yeah, I think I'd say 8 or 9. 8 or 9 is probably fair, to be fair. And finally, before we go into the quick, once again, the awards, David De Gea. Now, I obviously you won Golden Glove, but I actually think that was more overall the team. Rather than just the keeper. I think, to be honest, I won't give him below average just because of that. Literally, just because of that, I'll give him a 5. But yeah, literally just because I especially when I watched that FA Cup final, I noticed that this guy, he's holding us back, man. Like the distribution is a huge issue. Like you said, without Martinez there to do his job for him, it's glaringly obvious that we can't do the things that we want to do. So, like, I don't want to go below 5 just because of the fact that, okay, he managed to win the Golden Glove. But that's the only reason. Because otherwise, man's not getting a 5. What are you saying?
For me...
Go ahead, Jason.
For me, it's very obvious as to why we should mark him down. So I'll do the positive. So, yeah, the Golden Glove and whatnot. But also, the reality is, there are multiple games this guy saved us, man.
Yeah.
Leicester, certain saves this guy was doing and whatnot. Like was it Villa as well? Like clear one-on-ones, and this guy's pulling out stops. It's multiple games, not even one game.
That's his thing. That's what he's good for, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Exactly. Just what I'm saying. But you imagine that could have cost us Champions League if he didn't make those particular saves and whatnot. So for me, I'll give him a 6 for that and whatnot. So yeah.
Yeah, I was honestly in between 6 and 7, honestly, because the simple fact is, I said this before. I don't want to change because it was on tape. I don't want to change it just because of a few dodgy games.
I remember. Yes.
Yeah. Well, actually, like I want to say this carefully because I don't want people clipping this up. But we are in a way lucky to have him. Like not every you can have a keeper that's great with his feet but can't save the ball. You know, and I don't know. I don't think there's an obvious replacement for him out there. So he's still one of the best shot stoppers in the league, one way or another. And all goalkeepers make mistakes, you know.
You're right. You're right. My score's probably recency bias because I really did like seeing what I saw in that FA Cup final. I'm not gonna lie, but
yeah. No, he has infuriated us. Plenty, and you can make a very good argument that 2-3 years ago he should have been gone, to be honest with you.
This guy's cost us 2 trophies, man. And because it's not just like it's like the issue is not just mistakes. It's when you're doing the mistakes.
Yeah.
If you do a mistake again, like when we're winning or against a lesser team, you're doing it in the Europa League knockout round. You're doing it in the FA Cup final.
Yeah.
You get a massive markdown for that. For me personally,
I don't know how you do that, bro. If you're professional,
bro,
like
be better.
Come prepared to work.
Be better, bro. Like wake up, man.
Like you come to work and you just forget to bring your shoes or something like that. Do your job, blood.
Oh,
like this is one thing we're asking you to do. Maybe I'll give him this.
You can't play at this pressure with this pressure anymore. And United, it's a high pressure job. You see what I'm saying? Like you if you want to be a brain surgeon, right? High pressure job.
You have to have steady hands.
Correctly.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And so if you want to be a United goalkeeper, it's all well and good that you can do it against flipping Brentford or whatever Brentford.
You couldn't do it
team.
Yeah.
If you can't do it in the big moments, you cannot be a Manchester United goalkeeper.
It's a bad example.
To Maguire.
Exactly.
And also we forget how Romero covered him a lot as well. Because Romero was great.
Was a great backup.
And then he'll come in and do nonsense.
What's it? Look, my final point on there though is we should be careful what we wish for, because obviously we've seen in the past how hard it is to replace a good goalkeeper. So we're gonna each of us just give our 4 things. So our player of the season, our young player of the season, our most improved player, and then an MVP. Now, just to kind of clarify, can you clarify, Tom, what an MVP is as opposed to a player of the season?
I'm gonna say it's not the same thing, because
Exactly.
in basketball terms, it doesn't really mean MVP.
Okay.
It's never really given to the actual most valuable player.
Okay.
It's often just given to the best player.
All right, cool. Then let me give what I want it to mean then. The player of the season, obviously, is the best player of the season for us. But the MVP, I want it to be the person that was most important for us. Not necessarily the best player, but he was so important for.
You just want to give Bruno an award, isn't it? You just want to.
Anyway, let's. I'll give my awards in a minute. All right, you go first, Tom. Your player of the season, your young player of the season, your most improved player from last season to this season, and your MVP.
Player of the season, I'll go. I want to give it to Casemiro, but I think I should give it to Licha. Licha had, in terms of the quality of their performances, he was the highest in his performances every time he played. But you can split hairs. I think Casemiro had the overall biggest impact in terms of when he played. He was available more, and he was huge for us. And also just the pedigree that he brought to our team, having a Champions League winner, team just boosts the mentality. And young player Garnacho, obviously. Who am I going to give it to? I'm going to give it to Langa or
no, exactly. No one else.
So most improved player, it has to be Wambi. It has to be. He's completely changed his outlook completely. He looks like a £50 million player now. And MVP, I know you just wanted to give it to Bruno. I'll actually give it to Rashford just to spite.
Okay, all right, Jay. What are your ones? Let's go.
Quite easy. So, player of the season: Martinez, MVP Casemiro, most improved player Wambi, and young player Garnacho. Done.
Nice and easy. And I guess your reasons are already in the ratings anyway, right? All right, cool. So my player of the season, yeah. You would think I'd already thought about this, right? But every time we've been talking, it's changed, right? But I think my player of the season is gonna have to go to Casemiro, which is weird for me to say because I was gonna say the Butcher, but I think based on what we said in the last video about transfers, when we didn't have Casemiro, we missed him a lot more. So I think he made a big difference to this team, and DM is such an important role for us. I think we could skate by without having. Well, it's weird to say we did skate by without having Martinez, but we can't face Casemiro. So player of the season for me, Casemiro. Obviously, it's a shame to Rashford. He got it from the team for the squad. Scored the most goals, all that kind of stuff. Young player of the season, Garnacho. No questions asked. No problem there. Most improved player. There's options. Rashford could have been in there because he was shocking last season. Like when you deep it, he was shocking last season. Shaw wasn't great last season, but for me, it has to be Wambi, man, because he even just within this season, you could say he's the most improved player just from the start of the season to the end of the season. And then my MVP.
You can make an argument that he's most improved player in the league.
From the league, exactly. But my MVP, my most important player, the player that we can't do without, that we miss all the time when he's not there, that he's imperative to the way this team operates, and that he's played every single minute of this season.
I want to meet you now. I want to meet you.
Like, sin him.
Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah.
Captain, El Capitan. Anyway. Let us know your awards.
Please, let us know why I was wrong. Let us know why Rich is wrong.
You're right. It's inefficient.
Thanks for sticking with us, because obviously
rolling on the floor. My captain rolling on the floor.
Yes, my captain. But anyway, thanks for sticking with us. Obviously, a longer video than usual, but it was necessary because we need to get all the players and give our views on each of these players. Obviously, next season's around the corner. We're going to come back later on in the summertime to give our predictions for next season once we've kind of seen what's going to happen with transfer window, obviously. Thanks again for watching. Catch us, like I said, on socials, and see you.